There is a difference between being heard and feeling understood. And most people, even the people who love you, even the people who genuinely care, will only ever give you the first one. Being heard means someone was present while you talked. They nodded. They didn't check their phone. They waited for you to finish, and then they responded. Maybe they gave advice. Maybe they told you about a similar situation they went through. Maybe they said something like, "At least it wasn't worse," or "Everything happens for a reason," or "I totally know how you feel." And you walked away feeling hollow, like something was missing, like despite all the words and all the nodding, you were somehow still alone in what you were carrying. That feeling has a name, and the name is, you were heard, but you were not understood. Feeling understood is something entirely different. It's rarer, it's deeper. And when it happens, when someone says exactly the right thing, or sometimes says almost nothing at all, and you suddenly feel like they get it, like they actually got you, something inside you releases. The weight lifts slightly. You feel less alone, more human, more connected. And here's what I want you to understand about that experience. The people who create it, the people who have the extraordinary ability to make you feel truly understood, are not necessarily the smartest people in the room. They are not the ones with the best advice. They are not the most eloquent. They are not the ones who have been through the most. They are the ones who know something specific, something almost nobody teaches. And today, I'm going to teach it to you. Let's start with the most important concept in this entire video. Because without understanding this, nothing else I say will fully land. Most people, when someone comes to them with something heavy, a problem, a fear, a frustration, a heartbreak, immediately go into fix mode. They jump to solutions. They offer perspective, they reframe, they reassure, and every single one of those responses, however well-intentioned, sends the same unspoken message to the person in front of them. The message is, your feelings are a problem to be solved. And the moment someone receives that message, even subconsciously, the connection closes. Because they didn't come to you for a solution. They came to you for something far more basic, far more human. They came to you to feel less alone in what they're feeling. Research psychologist Carl Rogers, one of the most influential figures in the history of psychology, spent his entire career studying what actually makes human beings feel understood. And what he found was this. The single greatest thing you can offer another person is not advice. It is not solutions. It is empathic understanding, reflecting back the emotional truth of what they're experiencing so clearly that they feel genuinely seen. Not fixing, not advising, witnessing. Now let me show you what that actually looks like in practice, because this is where most people get stuck. They think, okay, so I just listen and don't say anything. That's going to seem weird. That's not going to help them. But it's not about saying nothing. It's about saying the right thing. And the right thing is almost always far simpler than people expect. It's called emotional labeling, and it's one of the most powerful communication techniques that exists. The FBI uses it. Therapists use it. The best leaders in the world use it. And once you learn it, it will change the quality of every difficult conversation you ever have. Here's how it works. When someone shares something with you, something emotional, something they're struggling with, instead of responding with your thoughts, your opinions, or your advice, you name what you think they might be feeling. You say things like, "It sounds like you're exhausted by this," or "It seems like part of you is scared of what comes next," or "It feels like you've been carrying this alone for a while." That's it. No solutions, no silver linings, no comparisons to your own experience. Just a gentle, accurate reflection of the emotion underneath what they said. And here's the neuroscience behind why this works so profoundly. Researcher and clinical professor of psychiatry, Dan Siegel, has a phrase for it. He calls it, "Name it to tame it." When someone is in the grip of a strong emotion and you accurately name that emotion out loud, something measurable happens in their brain. The activity in the amygdala, the brain's threat and fear center, actually decreases. The emotion becomes slightly less overwhelming, not because anything in their situation changed, but because the feeling was acknowledged, because it was named, because it was made real by someone else witnessing it. That is not a small thing. That is neurological relief delivered through language. But here's what makes emotional labeling feel genuinely powerful rather than clinical or scripted. You have to say it like a gentle observation, not a diagnosis. You're not telling them what they feel. You're offering it softly, almost tentatively. It sounds like, it seems like, I wonder if. Those openers leave room. They invite the person to correct you if you got it wrong. And even when you get it slightly wrong, the act of trying, of reaching toward their emotional experience, still makes them feel seen. Now I want to talk about the things that silently destroy the feeling of being understood. Because most people do these things without even realizing it, and they undo all the good of genuine listening in an instant. The first one is the at least response. Someone tells you they're devastated about losing a job. You say, at least you have your health. At least you have savings. At least it wasn't something worse. This sounds supportive. It is the opposite of supportive. What it actually says is, your pain isn't valid because here are reasons it could be worse. It shuts the emotion down rather than acknowledging it. The second one is the redirect to your own experience. Someone shares something vulnerable, and within 30 seconds you're telling them about the time something similar happened to you, and suddenly they're listening to your story instead of being heard in theirs. Even if your intention is to show empathy, I've been through something like that too. The effect is often that the person feels their moment was hijacked. And the third one is unsolicited advice. Someone hasn't asked you how to fix it. They've told you how they feel. When you immediately jump to solutions, you skip over the most important step, acknowledging that what they feel makes sense, that they're not overreacting, that their experience is valid. Solutions can come later, much later, and only if they ask. Now here's what you do instead of all three of those things. You summarize the essence of what they shared, not the words, but the emotional core. You say something like, "So it sounds like this has been building for a long time, and you're at a point where you just needed someone to know that." And then you add the three most powerful words in this entire skill set. Tell me more. Tell me more. 3 words that cost nothing. 3 words that signal, I'm not done being here for you. There is no rush. You are worth more of my time and attention. Keep going. Brené Brown, one of the world's leading researchers on human connection and vulnerability, has said that empathy is not about fixing. Empathy is about feeling with someone, about going into the darkness with them and saying you're not alone in there. That presence, that willingness to sit with someone in their difficult feeling rather than rushing them out of it, is the rarest and most valuable thing one human being can offer another. And here's what makes this especially meaningful for those of you who are naturally quieter, who don't always have the perfect response ready, who sometimes feel like you're bad at conversation because you don't have a lot to say. You were never bad at conversation. You were just never told that the most powerful version of connection doesn't require you to say much at all. It requires you to be something present, attentive, emotionally honest in your observations. And the people who are naturally inclined toward depth over small talk, they are often the most capable of offering this. They just needed permission to stop performing and start connecting. So here's your action step from this video. The next time someone you care about shares something difficult with them, before you respond with anything else, try just one emotional label. Find the feeling underneath what they said. Name it softly. It sounds like you're really worn down by this. Then go quiet. See what they say next. You might be surprised, not just by their response, but by the look on their face when they realize someone finally got it. This is Lowkey Mind, where the quiet ones learn to connect the deepest. Subscribe if this is the kind of content that speaks to you. Share it with someone who you wish understood you better. And drop a comment below. Tell me the last time someone truly made you feel understood. What did they do? I'd genuinely love to know. See you in the next one.